Hey everyone, I have something that I hope will be an interesting video for you. Did some testing with a lot of flights to get some smoothness, because we all know stutters are a killer, no matter what your frame rates are. Now, we're in the GB right now. I forgot how much I love this plane. It's just a big fat engine with tiny little wings, but it shakes a lot, and so when it stutters, when the sim stutters with this plane, it's horrible. But if it's just shaking, then it's normal. So right now it's actually been really good, and so I've tested it in a few different areas, a couple different planes, some different situations, and again, all I was looking for in this whole test was smoothness, how good the peripheral vision, the lower vision looked, looking for bleeding, tearing, just weirdness in the frames. Now right now my trees are on ultra because I'm flying in the mountains, and again I'm looking for the tearing and so forth, and not seeing it, not really seeing it, not seeing stuttering. So we move on now, and we take the GB and we take it into Dallas, Texas. So this is the Dallas, Texas area. Default scenery. Now my buildings are up on ultra at this point. So the trees I turned down and the bushes and shrubs I turned down because I'm in the city now, and I turned my buildings up to ultra. Again, the GB shakes. That's normal for this plane, and it's kind of like good turbulence because, like I said, when it stutters as well as shakes, it looks really, really horrible, and I'm not seeing that at all. I'm not seeing any stuttering. And I know some people have talked about settings and so forth, but I really hesitate to go over too many of my settings at this point because this is still a beta version. It's a public test version. Now, there are a couple of videos out that I've done on my channel that do show my settings, and really they have not changed. So there are videos, and I think even a couple of my descriptions have my settings. There are videos probably within the last 3 weeks that have most of my settings on them, and they really haven't changed. It's really the driver more than anything that's changed. So as you can see, we're still doing pretty good. We were in the cities a little bit, now we're out in the suburbs, again all around the Dallas, Texas area. I didn't take off from Dallas, but I set it as my starting point on the world map. So you can see this version is 127.17, and my flying is VR, and my specs for most of my system are on my left, on the left side here on the screen. And you know, right now again, buildings are up on high, ultra, trees are on high, and a little bit of stuttering, but overall, considering the level that I'm flying at and the detail that I'm seeing as I'm flying, you know, it really is quite remarkable how well the DLSS makes a difference. Now this is still the latest Nvidia driver that I'm flying with, and that has not been updated to, again, we're on some buildings here, hasn't been updated to support DLSS in Microsoft Flight Simulator, but I'm sure that'll follow shortly after. So again, GB around Dallas, Texas, some nice high speed, low level flying with a lot of view because the canopy is wide open. And now let's try a little bit different taste of flying. Flying in an ultralight, and we are flying around New York. Now this is not a high speed test obviously, but again, buildings are up on ultra. I have some cars, some vehicle traffic, and this is another opportunity to fly a big airplane that really gives quite a wide view. So it has to generate a lot of scenery. You know, again, I'm at a very low level, not a normal flying level, and you can see it's actually going by relatively smoothly considering where I am right now. And the fact that the New York skyline is on my horizon means that, and I can see it pretty clearly, I can see these buildings on the skyline, so they're generated up here. And as we get close to some of these and get into the city, well, we'll see what we see, eh? Looks pretty good. I mean, to me, flying this right now in VR with my Oculus Quest and being able to look down and seeing the detail on these buildings, or look up and see the detail on these buildings, and the cars in the streets below, and the buildings aren't filling in like as I'm getting to them. I'm not seeing, you know, sometimes you, or at least sometimes I've seen it where the scenery fills in as you approach it, and it kind of really takes away from the realism. And I'm not seeing that right now with these buildings. All default, still using default scenery. So now we're getting into some of the buildings, and we're going to cross over the river, and we'll, yeah, I mean, you know, I'm seeing some really nice detail on the top of these buildings here. A little bit of stuttering here and there as I get close to some, but overall, to me, this is quite smooth. You know, we're not going to go over there. We're gonna stay here and try some street level flying, and then we'll fly above the streets. And so, well, I'll let you make your own opinion based on what you're seeing. I'm giving you my information on what I'm flying and how I'm flying it. Again, I'll put something up on my settings at some point. You know, I'd really like to wait until the driver and the sim update itself is not in a public test mode, but actually the release. But if you look on my channel, just go back a few videos. There's a few that have my most recent settings, and none of those have really changed. So like I said, you know, I'm seeing a little bit of stuttering, but then I see something like this where it's really not stuttering too bad. Looking out the side, it does. I'm masking a lot of it right now by flying in the streets of New York. These buildings look pretty good to me, and the sensation of flying is, it's smooth enough right now for me. I will say I have no complaints at this point. Considering what it is and what it takes to make it do everything that it does. And that's another reason why I don't ever complain about Flight Simulator. I love Flight Simulator. I've had it since it was on DOS. And yeah, there's been times where there's stuff that crashes, stuff that breaks. Hey, it's a computer program, you know? Uninstall it, reinstall it. Big deal. So what if it takes you a day? It shouldn't, but even if it does, so what? Considering what it's taken to get it to this level, maintain this, I don't complain. Even if it did crash to the desktop, and I've had a couple. I don't get many, but I've had a couple of crashes, and I restart it, and then I fly. It does it twice. I try and figure out why. And I don't keep my community folder with a whole lot of stuff in it. I only put the stuff in it that I need. I'm not flying all those different airplanes. I load them. I bother to take a chance with my confidence. Look at this. Yeah, see this right now looks really, really nice to me. It seems to be flown by at a very smooth, proper pace for the airplane that I'm in, being an ultralight. And for the buildings up on Ultra in New York City, we all know this is a heck of a city to generate. Look at that stuff on the Ultra buildings. I think this new update, and I pray that it works like this for everybody that installs it. I really do. I hope it just works so good for everyone. But like I said, I love the sim, and I want everybody else to love it as much as they fly it, because it's just an amazing thing. So, these little stutters here and there, but really, you know, flying in the actual within the buildings of New York City, you know, in VR, I have to kind of expect some of that. I mean, I could turn the buildings down to medium, but you know, I'm not someone that's going to spend a lot of time flying here. And if it does this good here, then if I'm taking off from the airport and flying above it, I'd probably be at, you know, 7,000 to 10,000 feet by now, and performance would be even better because I wouldn't be in the buildings. So, well, again, I'll leave you to make up your mind. You can see what I'm seeing here as far as performance in the mountains, high speed, down low with the GB, and then down low here, and not so much high speed, but definitely down low in New York City with an ultralight. Hey, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the skies.